speech and off the cuff here. But as Mom said, thank you everybody for coming out for this very special man, my dad, Michael. As we mark his 80th birthday, well, not yet, but Mom, you guys aren't in your 80s, you're in your 70s. We got a while. But I'd like to reflect on the impact he's probably had on everyone's lives here. Lord knows he's had a super big impact on me, my brother, and everyone here. And he's touched, I'm sure he's touched you all in one way. You've always been the kind of person who's first in line when someone needs help. It's helping me back in the day with school projects. When I got my first house, helped me do my patio pavers in the back. Just always there to help, and it hasn't changed. Whether he's, lending an ear for a problem in life, or a problem with me trying to do something, replace my dishwasher. He's always, I think you all know he's a selfless man and always willing to help. His generosity isn't just about giving things and helping. It's the countless hours he's put into this yacht club and everyone here. I mean, he's busier now, retired at the yacht club, than he was working at PGD for all those years. But it keeps him young, and he loves it, I think. Making videos, and he's just a selfless man that's always willing to help people. And there's also unconventional ways that he helps. I mean, I call him my wife's book dealer, because he always goes on to illegal pirate sites, and any book you want, he'll get it for you. I mean, that might not be illegal. He probably has a way. And you always just find a way to make things happen for everybody that needs help, and it's just been an impact on everyone's life. And I think anyone that knows my dad, Michael, he's a very straight shooter, ethical, honest, by the rules. He just follows the rules. But did anyone, you all probably don't know that he lied to a judge in court. I mean, he didn't know he was lying, because he didn't know that I lied to him. I came clean 20 years later. But he got it thrown out, and this is when I took the Bronco joyriding, and then I took the Mercedes and hit the middle truck, and I told my sister and in reality I was driving on Walnut Creek in the Bronco. It was terrible. But, I got a driving without license ticket at 15, but thanks to him lying to a federal judge, it got thrown out. But how told is the ethical man he is, he did not know he was lying. And one of the inspiring things about you is your constant desire to explore and travel and see the world and come back and show us slideshows and books and pictures and inspire me and my family to go out and see the world and see the cultures and see how different people are, and realize that no matter where you're from in this world, we're all just people, and we just all have common. We're just all people, and even though we might look different and act different, at the end of the day, we're just all human beings and people. And you've instilled that in me, in my life, in my family's life, and probably everyone here's life, and it's admirable. And you're always open for an adventure, whether it's sailing across the open waters or immersing yourself in a foreign city. It's inspiring, and I know you love it, and we love seeing you do stuff like that. And we can't, in your love for sailing and photography, two passions you have that have given you much joy throughout your life. You've taught us to appreciate the world around us, whether it's the vast open water or the quiet moments captured through the lens of a camera, or booming rocket launches by my boy Elon Musk. Dad's always there to catch it, and he'll set his alarm at 2 a.m. to go out to go get pictures of these, and half the time he's out there in the cold and it's fogged in, and it gets canceled, and then he gets up at 3 and then 4 and then 5, but he usually gets those pictures, and that's pretty amazing. So Dad, as we celebrate your 80 years of life, I just want to say thank you for your wisdom, your generosity, your sense of humor, and for always leading by example, which you have always done, and if it wasn't for you and Mom's example, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at now. I mean, not that I'm that high, but you know, I try to live a clean life. But happy birthday, Dad. We're proud of you. We look forward to many years of love, laughter, and adventures, whether on the water, behind the camera, or just gathered around the table with the people who love you. And we love you. And now, the older brother. I second that.
I guess it was supposed to be a sweet roast, so that was sweet. I was trying to figure out where to start with this, and I was like, well, you know, he's a big nerd. Where can I, you know, talk about it? Be like how he tucks his t-shirt into his underwear. So I was like, no, I don't want to start there. I don't want to go there. But really, it's his dry humor. His humor is so dry, he serves his knock-knock jokes with a glass of water. His humor is so dry, his idea of a compliment is calling you a fart smeller, or a rather smart feller. One time, he asked my childhood friend, Alex. He said, Alex, how tall are you? And Alex was like, oh, 6 foot, whatever. And my dad was like, oh, I didn't know they could stack wheat that high. Anyway, I guess what I'm getting at though is his dry humor certainly rubbed off on me. Oh, I got a good one here for you. What did the pirate say on his birthday? I'm 18. Did it? I'm 80. Have a good day, yeah. That's all I got.
I'll just say something quick. Happy birthday, Michael. And yes, the dry humor runs in the family. Very deep, those waters. He is my book dealer, and I appreciate him for that very much. He is also our skin protector. I don't know if you know that Trader Joe's sells the best sunscreen there is. So we hear that often, and we stock stocking often with those treats. But you are an amazing father-in-law and a wonderful grandpa, so happy birthday. And I see
Before, I just wanted to have my sister stand up. This is my sister Julie. She's my older sister. And anyway, just wanted people to know we were thankful.
Does anybody else have any stories, Rose? Want to take the mic? Oh, we got David, Michael's nephew. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. Uncle Michael, happy birthday. We all love you. But if you're here, then who's driving 45 and a 65? That's good. No, Uncle Michael, you've been like a father to me and Ricky ever since my dad died. My dad was his brother, his younger brother. And just as corny of jokes, all that definitely wrote the family. But I just want to say thank you. Like Brian said, he's the kind of guy that would do anything for you, give you any type of advice you ever needed. That's what he provided for us. And I just want to say thank you for everything you did for us. And we love you. Anybody? Oh, we have it bigger. Maryland style.
I'm not comfortable with this, but Mike and Carol have been friends of ours since 1973. We lived 2 doors down from them in San Luis Obispo, and Mike and Carol helped Bob and I get through that first few months, or maybe a year, or 3 or 4 or 5 years of our firstborn. Didn't know what to do with his baby. He was screaming and crying all the time, and they were just lifesavers. And took a lot of care with us and were good neighbors. But then they also went on a marriage encounter weekend, and they told us we needed to go. And I go, well, what's it about? And Carol wouldn't tell us, and Mike wouldn't tell us. And I thought, well, if anybody's going to tell us, Carol will. I'll get it out there. And she wouldn't. And then she got her other neighbors, Dick and Teddy Schaefer, which they were here. And they went, and you got to go. So Bob and I went in 1979, and it was life-changing. And we've been involved in National Marriage Encounter ever since. And I just thank you guys for that, because, like I said, it was life-changing, and we celebrated 56 years of marriage. And we have so many good memories of Paul and Brian when they were little, and I got some great old blackmail pictures. And we just love you both, and you're very, very special friends. I'm so glad you're back here. Thank you. Happy birthday, Mike.
Are there any other takers to the microphone? Hands up if there are. Who are you pointing at? Kyle. Oh, that guy, of course. Miss Kyle.
I was gonna steal a bunch of stuff from the internet, but I guess I'm gonna have to do it from the heart. So, I don't know how long we've been members of the Yacht Club, 6, 7 years, but they were the first ones to open their arms to us and welcome us, and I very quickly became sail fleet captain and had no idea what I was doing. But Michael came to every race with me that year, and I was always like, what do I do? What do I do? What's next? What do I have to, flag do I have to raise? And what do I have to tell everybody? And he just guided me through the whole process that season. And it was because of you that I felt like, or at least I looked like I knew what I was doing. There was even the next year, one race where there were 2 different sets of plans out for the sailboats, the maps for them to follow. So when I called out race C, like the boats were going in different directions, and Michael's like, don't worry, they'll figure it out. We'll just start it over, it's no big deal. So everything's no big deal in Michael's world. And just how, like, something that is so cherished by him and something that's so loved, and I'm talking about his camera, but he lets me pick that up and whip it around and take photos and doesn't say, oh my God, be careful with that, or, you know, put that back down. He's just like, oh, if you want to like change the setting, just push this button and do that. He's just so wonderful. It's supposed to be a roast. I really should find some other things to talk about. But, well, the reason why I made the grandma comment was because I thought they were a little older. And I lost my grandparents when I was 16. So I said to them at one point, I said, oh, it's like having grandparents again. And Carol's like, I think you're the age of my children. That compliment went sour real fast. But they've had us over for Thanksgivings because we're originally from Massachusetts. So our families are all back in Massachusetts, and we've had a couple Thanksgivings with them. And it's just been a pleasure to have them in our lives. And thank you. You've been a wonderful guide and all that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that brings up, when my mom wanted to do a sweet roast, it's kind of hard with my dad. There's not too much to roast him on. But the whole camera thing, we'll be out, whether it be at the cliffs at Easter, and we want to get a family picture, and we'll find a nice family or person to take a picture. Dad's not worried about them holding the camera, but it's like 10 minutes of him telling them, okay, well, just this, just that. No, you're going to want to be this. Excuse me, you need to change the ISO and your shutter speed. It's like, Dad, just let him take the damn picture so we can stop smiling. I don't know, I'm trying to think of other things. I mean, I keep going back to your selflessness. I mean, growing up, you taking me to WWF wrestling matches at the Cow Palace where people me for spilling beers on you. I'm a little kid having a blast seeing Hulk Hogan out there, but he had to hate it. I mean, but you know, he'd take me and he did it over and over again. Things like that. You know, I was a Boy Scout for many years, and one of the trips was our snow camping up in Tahoe, and the parents' patrol was called the Creaky Bones because they were the parents. And all of us scouts, we would build snow enclosures, you know, so there'd be some sort of warmth and hold the heat. And the old parents would just put up a tent, and poor Dad's freezing his balls off, and with Mr. Moreno snoring logs, and he couldn't sleep all night. But he'd do it again, and yeah, just a great man and a great dad, and happy he is. And anybody else have anything to say for the joke, the story? We have a thinker. Beautiful. Thank you, Dan.
Well, this is something that happened several years ago, actually probably getting close to 20 years ago now, or longer. And this is a little sailing adventure that there were 3 sailboats that left out of Southern California down by Santa Barbara area. And we're sailing over to the Channel Islands, and Mike and Carol are on their Catalina 30, and my wife Georgina and I on our 30-footer, and Ed and Barb Evanish are on their 38-foot boat. And we look over, and we're sailing to one of the ports there, anchorages I should say. And we're just getting up to the point where we're going to start to throw some anchors overboard, and I look over, and Michael's got his anchor locker open, and he's tossing his anchor overboard. And the anchor hits the water, and the chain starts running over the bow roller, and pretty soon, it's gone. There's no line attached to anything. And he's looking down there like, Michael, do you believe in miracles? It's not coming back. He goes, it's okay. I hit man overboard on my GPS. Ever quick. That's Michael, ever quick. And I asked him about, he says, I'll come back later because I don't have my scuba gear with me. So about a year later, I said, did you ever go back and find that anchor? And he goes, no, I never could find it. Did you ever look for it? And he goes, I think I sailed by it a couple of times, but I don't think I know on it. But I just wanted to be sure that you knew, even then, he was not going to be outdone. He threw his anchor, and I don't know how many feet of chain, maybe 15, 20 feet of chain or something like that, with no line attached to it. And it's okay, I hit the man overboard button on my GPS, and I just went, you're never going to get over on this guy. But that said, when I came in the door, I said, Michael, you said no gifts, but I was going to bring you a new anchor, and chain, and he got it right away. He started laughing, so he's got a great sense of humor. And thank you for being a friend, ever.
I did think of a quick story. In 1984, Dad and Mom uprooted us from our life in San Luis Obispo and brought us to the Bay Area. Turned out great. We loved it up there. And I think it was the first day or two we were at our new house, and Dad wanted to go down to Bevmo or whatever it was to get some drinks, some beers. I don't know the details. And I'm 8 years old at the time, Paul's 12. And all of a sudden, Mom's like, where's Dad? He's been gone a long time. And this is before the cell phone days. And I mean, if anyone knows Michael's sense of directions, it's not the best. And I inherited that. I can't tell left from right. But he got lost, and he couldn't find how to get back to our new house. And I think he had to pull over, pay phone, remember our new home number. And it was like a 2-hour journey to get him a 6-pack of beer. But he made it back, and it hasn't changed. It's the same way. Where are we going? But thank goodness for Mom, that is always his navigator and always by his side. Would anybody else like to take the mic and tell a story or roast him? Oh, did you just raise your hand, Chris? No. Okay. Oh, we do. This would be my cousin Michael's nephew, Joe Davidson.
So I'm Joe, I'm the nephew. Not necessarily one specific story in and of itself, but more of kind of an anecdote of spending a lot of time with Michael and Carol. They dealt with me as a teenager coming to visit them down here a lot. Sorry about that. There's still one habit I definitely, I don't even know if you call this a roast, because it really isn't a habit, but one direct habit I definitely picked up from Michael Dobrzinski is that anytime in a grocery store, for the amount of time I spent with them, I picked this up from them. If there's a few different items that are somewhat different price points, that come in different sizes, ounces, whatever, you'll see me there in a Trader Joe's. I'm like, okay, this one's $14.56, this one's 8 ounces, 16 ounces. This one's 18 cents less per ounce. And my poor girlfriend's saying, pick one. And, you know, I don't even know if you call that a roast, because it's just the name of frugality, but I mean, you know, so thank you for that. She calls me a cheap bastard for it, but I think I'm just being true.
Thank you, Joe. Anyone else like to say anything?
I was just saying one more thing, not anything, it's just a little tea. It's no big deal. I'm keeping those to myself. Anyway, Michael, I don't know if you know, but he does not cook. I mean, we've been married 56, almost 57 years, and he does not cook. Okay, when he was a bachelor, he cooked. I don't know what happened. But anyway, when we first got married, he was going to school and I was working. So it was around St. Patrick's Day, and I bought a corned beef and cabbage. And you know how it comes in a bag and everything? Julie's already laughing. You remember this story? Oh, yes. So I said, would you please start the corned beef? I mean, before I get home, because it's going to take a while. And so he said, I said, it's not a problem. There's directions there. It's in a bag. It's all the seasonings are there. It's really easy. So I get home, and this is, I think, when things were coming where you could get them in a bag. He put the whole thing in the plastic bag with all the seasonings in the pot to boil. I mean, and do you know, it really didn't cook either. So I come home to this corned beef cabbage in the bag, and everything is sitting in there raw. Okay. So he still doesn't cook. And
He was ahead of his time.
yeah. So, but he does wash dishes very well, and he does do a lot of other things, but cooking is not one of them. So after that, I just gave up. So anyway, that's about it. So anyway, do you want to talk about the films or whatever? Brett's going to help with that. And oh, I completely forgot somebody. Okay, what I was trying to. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to think of Greg. Greg, will you raise your hand, please? Greg over there was the one who put the video together. So we really appreciate this. There's a lot of conversations back and forth and a lot of time. But he also we went over to his house and cooked a wonderful dinner for us too. So and there's Arlette, his wife, and we have been friends since I was pregnant with Paul and she was pregnant with Ryan. So Greg and Michael went to Cal Poly together. So we've been friends for that long. And thank you so much for the video. Over 50 years. Thank you. Okay, that's it. I'm going to hand it over to, I guess Brett's going to help us with this. And so thank you to Brett too. So I know so many people think. It's exciting.
One more thing on the lack of cooking by my father. It didn't happen often, but growing up when my mom would go out of town, I don't know what you would go out of town for, girls trips or whatever, but it was exciting because it was guaranteed we're going to Casper's for a hot dog. Every time, that's what we did. And wasn't there a story about spaghetti on the ceiling? Didn't want to do that, okay. And it's Don Perez, my mother's oldest friend.
producer introduced Michael and Carol, I believe. And so I've known you, Michael, for probably 57, 58 years. And about Michael, I'm going to say this to try not to cry. He's a wonderful husband. And I love how he loves my best friend. And, but he does have a wonderful sense of humor. So Carol and I talk 3 or 4 times a week. I don't know what we talk about when we talk. And Michael's always got his ear in our dugout. So he's like telling this little, he comes right in and interrupts Carol. And he's like, no, I'm saying no, and stuff, and it's so cute. And I love that about you. And then directional wise, yes, there have been some problems. And so Michael and Carol came to see us in Reno. That's where we live now. And so they're leaving us and they're driving down the highway, I guess. And then I get this phone call and it's Carol. Where are we? Where are we? And I'm like, is this like a quiz show? I don't know where you're at. And she goes, we're lost. We're lost. Well, okay, you're in Reno, and where we live in South Reno, you go and then you hit Highway 80 and you go west to Sacramento, keep going. They missed the big west to Sacramento signs. And so then the next thing, they're up in the boonies, right? And I'm like, I could tell you how, I could drive it, but I can't really tell you, so just go all the way back. So she said she was knitting, he was driving, missed the big west to Sacramento sign. And but then the other thing about his driving, Michael has always been the slowest cautionary driver you'd ever want to know, to the point that it's painful. And so we're with them. We came down to see them down here. We were going to go to Santa Barbara, go to the boat for the day. And so they decided to take this country highway instead of 101, or 1 or whatever it is. And so Steve and Michael are in the front seat. Carol and I are in the back seat. And then Steve's going, Michael, you're going kind of fast. Michael, there's a highway patrolman. Michael. And this highway patrolman's on the other side, turns around, pulls behind Michael. And so I'm like, this cannot be happening. Michael cannot be getting a speeding ticket. Michael's never had a speeding ticket. So I'm helping him. I put down the window in the back seat and I go, excuse me, officer, this is the slowest driver I know. He cannot be getting a ticket. He cannot be getting a ticket. Well, as I'm yakking away, he's writing the ticket. So that was my only speeding ticket, I believe. And I was lucky enough to witness. Anyhow, what's that?
It's his only ticket.
I know. Anyhow, I love you, Michael. I'm happy we're here to celebrate your 80th. So I love you.
I also could not believe when I heard the story that he did his speeding ticket. That was on your way to Santa Barbara, right? On 52 or whatever? 54? Okay. I didn't believe it.
I know.
So I guess we're on to the slideshow.